Hey, how's it going? I haven't done a highlight video in a while. I do want to get back to doing those, but I did want to put something out since I haven't done a highlight video in a while, and I thought I'd just riff on what's going on with OU right now and some college football stuff. The state of the program. OU is getting better. Looks really good now. Against Kansas, this is all prefaced by this is against Kansas, right? That is the disclaimer. But against Kansas, the defense was really good. And the D-line in particular, oh my gosh, the D-line. Ronnie Perkins, Nick Bonito, Jordan Kelly's coming along nicely. Isaiah Thomas is good. Perion Winfrey's been a revelation. This D-line is hands down the best in the Big 12. It's one of the top ones in the country, I bet. I would venture to guess. But I don't think there's any way that the remaining opponents on OU's schedule stop this D-line. Linebackers, that's a different story. You'd love to see some more consistency with them. They're really athletic. They've got to get a little more consistent. Secondary's been coming along. D-line's been masking some mistakes from the secondary for sure. But guys like Trey Brown has gotten a lot better with his ball skills since last year. Think about that pick against Sam Ehlinger in overtime where he came off his man to intercept the pass. The pick against Kansas this past week. Trey Brown's gotten better, so that's good to see. Secondary has a little more depth now. Grinch rotates more at the corner and safety positions. He rotates everywhere. He emptied the bench probably by the third quarter against Kansas because that's just what he likes to do. He likes to rotate guys a lot, but there's a little more depth now, and Grinch can rotate more, which is awesome. You love to see it. That's going to keep the defense fresh. That's going to keep the defense active and ready to go, and it helps Grinch with his plan. Offensively, Spencer Rattler wasn't as sharp as he could be against Kansas, even before the injury. But the cool thing about Spencer Rattler is that as a redshirt freshman, you can already see what he's going to become. He's already really good, but you can see that there is greatness in him. His arm is incredible, and not just arm strength, but the way he throws, his release, and his accuracy. He has incredible arm talent for a redshirt freshman. His decision making could be better, right? But that's going to come with time, I would expect. And yeah, he's got great things ahead of him. I don't expect him to win a Heisman this year, right? But he's good enough to where he is. Why would we not expect that from him maybe next year? So Spencer Rattler is looking really good, with the exception of this Kansas game, just a kind of a weird deal. But he's going to be a stud. The running game has really benefited from Ramondre Stevenson returning. He has changed this offense. With him, we know that there's a consistent run game. You can hand the ball off to him and get 5 yards almost every single time. And he reminds me a lot of Samaje Perine with the way he moves. He's a big dude, but he's also nimble. The way he uses his feet really sticks out to me. And he's stiff-arming guys left and right against Tech and Kansas. And he just changed the dynamic of this offense and what it can be. No disrespect to TJ Pledger or Marcus Major, Seth McGowan, but right now Ramondre Stevenson is on a different level. Speaking of Seth McGowan, I don't know what's happened to him. He's sort of disappeared the last couple weeks. You'd like to see him be get a little more PT. I don't know what's going on with him, because in the first couple games he looked like he could be special. So we'll see how that turns out. But Pledger's a good number 2 back. Yeah, I'll take him. Marcus Major hasn't been the force that I hoped he would be, but he's still a young guy. But the wide receivers, we got Jaden Hazelwood back this past week, so coming in, I'm sure he'll be integrated into the offense a little bit more. That'll be really good. O-line was pretty good against Kansas. But now around the rest of college football, what's been happening is really interesting with all this COVID stuff and the new sort of schedules that people have had to cobble together. the group of 5 teams have been doing really well because they haven't had to play some of the Power 5 opponents. They haven't had those paycheck games where, you know, you just go get your head beat in by Ohio State. And so you've got a lot of like undefeated teams. Like Cincinnati is a top 10 team. BYU is undefeated. They're 8-0. They only have 2 games left. Coastal Carolina and the Liberty Flames, of all things, are undefeated. There's some I'm missing that I can't think of. SMU has, I think, 1 loss, but they're ranked in the top 25. Army is at the edge of the top 25. Louisiana. There's all these group of 5 teams that it's like, what do you do with them all? There's only one that's going to get to go to that New Year's Six Bowl. I think that's still how that's working this year, even with all the weird scheduling and stuff going on. But they're not sniffing the playoff. You know, Cincinnati, they beat somebody the other day, but Texas A&M beat the snot out of a crummy South Carolina team and like jumped them in the poll. So, you know, they're not going to sniff the playoff, unfortunately. I think it'd be kind of fun, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that. In my opinion, I think the playoff comes down. I think it's going to be 2 SEC and 2 ACC teams, counting Notre Dame as an ACC team for the sake of this year, of course. I think Clemson's gonna beat Notre Dame in a rematch. Miami is still technically up there, but it's really Clemson, Notre Dame, and then Miami's maybe in that second tier, and then there's everybody else in the ACC. I think it's going to be a Clemson-Notre Dame rematch. Clemson's going to win that rematch, and both will get into the playoff. And I think in the SEC, Bama's going to get in, and then maybe Texas A&M. Texas A&M has already played Alabama. They lost, but they'll only have 1 loss. Whereas Florida, assuming they win the East, they'll have 2 losses. So it may be 2 SEC West teams get into the playoff. Ugh, makes me gag just saying it. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh, another thing about Clemson is their quarterback. DJ Uiagalelei. They're going to be set for when Trevor Lawrence is gone. I don't really think they're going to miss a beat because he looks good. You know, he hasn't been perfect. He's been a freshman at times, but he has been really good. The Pac-12, as far as the college football playoff, they're out of it before it even began. They started way too late to be involved, even if they had a team that was possibly good enough to get to the playoff. They've just started too late. As far as the Big Ten, Ohio State could get in, but I have a feeling that they're going to miss a game or two for COVID reasons. I think they might have to cancel 1 or 2. They have no leeway. They have no bye weeks or anything in there, so I think they're going to have to cancel a game probably at some point, or their opponent's going to have to cancel and not be able to play Ohio State. And I feel like having fewer games is going to really hurt them, especially if A&M's only loss is to Alabama. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that goes. We'll see how the committee plays it. It's the opinions of people. That's how you get into the playoff right now. So, we'll see how that goes. OU, I think, is going to run the table. They've got to have Kansas State lose 1 more time to make sure that they're in the Big 12 title game. And here's the crazy thing. If Texas wins out, I believe that OU plays Texas in the Big 12 title game. Because that means that Texas will have beaten Iowa State, and they will only have 2 losses. Iowa State will have 2 losses. OU will have 2 losses. Tiebreaker. And I think that would go Texas's way, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that this was kind of fun and informative. Hopefully I'll be able to make a highlight video again soon.